Hey there, Leo. Welcome to your reading for 2022. We are going to jump right in here, Leo, and we are going to see what is going on for you at this time. I feel like pulling this card as well. And damn, Leo, this is a pretty good reading, is what I'm going to say to you. So you have some good stuff coming up here. You have this adventure in Between Two Worlds card here in the middle. I really like this, especially that combination. That Between Two Worlds card is my favorite card in that deck, the Wisdom of the Oracle. So it's kind of like a card that says, you know, you could be in this in-between time where things are starting to become more vibrant. Things seem to be becoming more alive in your life. And that's really, you know, as simple as it sounds, I think that's like the message of your reading for the whole entire year is what I'm trying to spit out here, is it's like things are becoming animated. And I actually got the word animated popping into my head, but I feel like it's saying you might have some dreams or some goals that you've been trying to manifest, or maybe you've been trying to manifest love here, and it's like things are actually starting to move, which is interesting. Sometimes I think we almost don't believe it when that happens, where it's like we start to actually like manifest a dream or we accomplish a goal, and we're like, did I really just do that? Or, is this real life? And kind of like, that's like the feeling that I get here is this real life? Those are actually, I think that's the message of your reading. You have this skunk spirit. This card says know your worth here, and it's interesting because you have the lovers and the devil showing up here, and with the Hierophant as well on top of all that. This type of combination to me kind of would say that some of you might be either you're in a relationship or it's asking you to avoid a relationship, take it how it resonates, where, maybe a person isn't worth you, right? Maybe you are, you know what, it might not sound, correct, or whatever, but maybe you're better. And I feel you need to realize that. Like, this is saying, don't sell yourself short. You're not the only person this year to get a message about needing to make sure that you're with people who are like actually on the same energetic level as you. And again, it's not speaking poorly of those people that aren't. It's not saying there's anything wrong with them. We're all at different stages in life. We all are at different places where we're learning lessons and things like that. So I don't look at it personally as a good or a bad thing. I just think sometimes some people are just at a different stage of life, and maybe they're just not right for you. And that's kind of like what I see here. I would be careful of that, especially if you're kind of like really vibing high here. You have the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands can sometimes say, if you're vibing, if you're feeling good, if things are going well in your life, that's sometimes when like a person or a situation can enter into your life and it can really, mess up your day. So I feel like this Seven of Wands is saying, protect the goodness in your life, protect the things that make you happy, protect the, successes that you are finding with that Seven of Wands. I do feel like some of you, I'm getting the year 2019 is popping into my head. I feel for some of you that was an important year, and I feel a realization that you had is like maybe a certain person wasn't, or a certain type of person isn't good for you at all, period. Even to the point where it's like maybe you were with a person who caused your finances to dip, for example. It's almost like, I don't know why 2019 is popping into my head, but it is. And what I would say is maybe that is a year where you learned like how people can affect your energy, right? And that's popping into my head is very important. You have the Hierophant, the lovers, and the devil here. This is very simple. I know exactly what's going on here. The Hierophant, he has 3 levels to his crown on his head. He also has 3 levels to the staff here. Represents the 3 levels of initiation in life, and represents initiation, apprenticeship, and mastery. I feel like you are kind of like at the mastery level of either love or just life in general here, Leo. And I feel like it's saying, maybe you're experiencing like one final test. I wouldn't really call this a test reading, but I kind of feel like it's saying, there could be some people who show up and it's like the universe is going to say, are you going to allow this person into your life? Are you going to allow this person? It doesn't even have to be love. It could just be for friendship, or maybe you go to a place of business and, I really feel this energy. It's very simple, this first row, of needing to stick up for yourself. I think another way that this could manifest in your life intuitively here is that it's like you might have people who are making very strong suggestions, and I'm getting that on the devil. Sometimes I think other people kind of, think that they know what's best for us. So they can make suggestions like, oh, go do this, go do that. And I feel the universe is like saying, are you going to allow other people to live your life, or have you gotten to the point where you know your worth with that skunk card and you're going to live your own life, right? And I would just like, we don't have to be mean to people or anything like that. We can stick up for ourselves in a nice way, or we can just, allow the words to go right through our two ears, right? And we don't have to take any advice that we know isn't going to be good for us. Like sometimes it's hard. Like maybe our parents are like telling us what to do or whatever. And I think when it's people who are important to us like that, it's a little bit harder to say no to, right? Or we feel like they're right. But I kind of feel like you're sticking up for yourself here. Yeah, look, with the Hierophant, you have the Six Wands. Six Wands is a card of success. It's also a card of excellence. Not only that, there are some people in the background here on the Six Wands, and those people could be jealous of his success here. So again, I kind of got that feeling that people could be kind of showing up in your life who are kind of trying to, mess up your day. Maybe not intentionally, but I would just be careful of that energy. With the lovers, you have the Nine of Pentacles here, Leo. So a lot of abundance, a lot of success coming in for you. Very interesting as well, because the Nine of Pentacles is a card of being single, or, a lot of readers read it as a card of being single, which is accurate, but she's like truly independent. That doesn't necessarily mean she's single. She just is able to use her energy wisely, and she's also very focused on like the luxuries in life as well. She's making sure that she's creating very fulfilling experiences for herself, but again, you have the lovers here, and it's like she could have a lover, and she's very focused on that. And again, it doesn't matter what gender you are or anything like that with the Nine of Pentacles, but I kind of feel like you're a little bit more focused on that. The Nine of Pentacles is also a card of our environment, and like I said at the beginning of the reading, I think it's super important that you protect your environment from, bugs. And by bugs, I mean devil-like people. With the Devil, you have the Nine of Cups. This is your arch nemesis here, Leo. It shows up in every single reading that I do for you. Comfort, Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups is a good card, but it's a card of contentment and fulfillment. I would say that contentment is probably not going to be your friend in 2022. I'm not saying you have to like work yourself to the bone or go crazy, but I feel like if you're finding yourself in this comfort zone, or if you're finding yourself kind of being content, which can lead to boredom. What do they say? Like idle hands are the devil's workshop or whatever. I'm kind of getting that here. So I would make sure that you're kind of like staying busy with that Nine of Cups and the Devil. Not bad, still good. Nine of Cups says make a wish, but still, I would be careful. For those of you looking for love, plain and simple, I feel like there's a lot. Someone is attracted to you right now, is what I would say to you, Leo. It could be a Gemini, Capricorn shows up here, Taurus. Could be any sign. This is just a general reading. I'm also getting Aquarius here as well. So it could be any sign, but what I would say here is that I do feel there's definitely love coming in for you here. I feel like it is probably with a person who is very independent, which might be a good thing for you in the first place, because you are showing up as very independent as well. And so I think like two people who don't need each other, perfectly fine, right? Nothing wrong with that. Next, you have the Between Two Worlds card and this Adventure card. So I kind of feel this like, is this real life type of energy here with these two cards, Leo. I feel that things are going to be going really well for you, and things are becoming more alive. It's like things are becoming more real in your life, and this is kind of like important. I do feel this row is saying like, don't run away from the things that you're manifesting, which, some of us can do. I've done it, right? Where it's like, you kind of maybe find a little bit of success and get nervous about the responsibilities. I think it would be important to have some like anchors is what's popping into my head. Like, sometimes I think people, I've seen successful people make a bunch of money, and then like maybe at a certain point they start making a little bit less money and they start freaking out. But it's like, you're still in a really good position, So I think kind of this right here is saying, this Page of Swords that you have is kind of like saying, keep things in perspective. He's not really a card of perspective, but just intuitively, I kind of feel that he is talking about perspective and making sure that you're kind of seeing things as blessings. I feel like maybe sometimes looking back on the past and saying, well, I used to not have money and now I do. That's just an example. I think that could be happening for some of you. That's why I'm saying that. It's like you could be greatly increasing your finances here. And I feel like if maybe you have a period of time where it's like down just a little bit, I think you need to say like, hey, you know what? I used to make only, $10 an hour. Now I'm making $120 an hour or something like that. Then, I feel like kind of keeping things in perspective would be very important for you. And I also feel like it's important to kind of like keep the blessings going. Sometimes I think if we're, making money, or if we're experiencing some other type of positive abundance and then we notice a dip, it could be the universe saying like, hey, did you, get lazy? Did you forget to do something that you used to do? Usually when there's a dip, it's like we're not doing like a practice or daily practice that we used to do. It reminds me of James Altucher. He's like one of my favorite people of all time. And he talks about how he writes down 10 ideas a day. And when he stops writing 10 ideas a day, he stops making money basically. So he always writes 10 ideas a day, so he doesn't stop making money. So some of you, it's like, I feel like that Page of Swords is saying, is there a daily practice? Is there something you do that makes you successful this year that you stop doing? If there is, then I would keep doing it. You have the, again, Page of Swords, Queen of Wands, and Seven of Wands here. Seven of Wands is a card of commitment. It's like a card of conviction. He knows that he's going to be successful on a very, very deep level. So I'd say if you're like trying to manifest things or trying to create something good in your life, then, make sure to have that belief. You also have the Queen of Wands as well. Queen of Wands to me can be, I wouldn't really call it an uncertain energy, but she's kind of like flying by the seat of her pants because there are no salamanders on her card. On the Page, Knight, and King of Wands, there are salamanders on the card, and the salamanders, they represent like protection from fire. They are protected from anything that could potentially burn them or hurt them, but she isn't protected. She is guided by her heart. She represents wholehearted energy, and she puts everything she's got into what she's working on. So that's kind of like the thing that protects her, is her belief, is her conviction. Seven of Wands. She is probably the one card that has the deepest belief. She knows that things are going to work out for her, and because of that, they do. But if she gets a little bit shaky, if she gets a little bit worried, or if she stops doing the things that she was supposed to be doing, then she's not going to be successful. With the Page of Swords, you have the Queen of Wands. What do you know? Exactly what I was saying. So again, I would, put things into perspective. I also get a very intuitive thing here. I always say this to you, Leo. To me, Leo is like the most underrated intuitive ever. Every single Leo I've ever met in my entire life is super intuitive, and every single Leo that I've met that is super intuitive never believes that they're intuitive. So it's kind of like a weird thing. Not only that, nobody talks about Leo being intuitive. So again, trust your intuition. You are extremely intuitive. I'm here to tell you this. And with the Queen of Wands, you have the Ace of Cups. Your emotions overflowing. A lot of happiness coming in for you here, Leo. So I feel like there's a lot of just, kind of like very positive energy coming in for you with that Ace of Cups. I would be focused on things that bring you peace. I think if you're having moments where maybe you're just not feeling great, maybe you're getting into like a little bit of a funk, the Ace of Cups, what's popping into my head is hobbies. Maybe you have things that you enjoy doing or things that you love doing in your life. I would go do the things that you love doing. I think that sometimes we get into this like work mode, and like the universe is like, you need to slow your ass down and you need to go do something that you love doing because you haven't done any of that. So like the universe doesn't want us like working ourselves to the bone. I'm convinced that the universe wants us to, have tons of abundance, but we don't necessarily have to like work hard for it, right? And so sometimes I think the universe forces us to slow down. Like me, a couple days ago, none of my equipment was working. The universe forced me to slow down, right? And take a couple of days off, basically. And I kind of feel, again, I don't want to scare you. I don't think this is a bad thing. I feel the universe is going to, could make those things happen where maybe there's a slowdown or things slow down. I feel like in those moments, you should go for a walk, go enjoy nature, go do something that you love doing. That's going to fill you back up with the Ace of Cups. Sometimes with the Ace of Cups, I just feel like it's more about filling your cups. It has nothing to do with love, even though I do think it has to do with love because, there is clearly love that could be coming in for you. But at the same time, you have the Six of Cups here. Six of Cups is like a card of children or being childlike. So again, if we look at this diagonal here, it's like Devil, Nine of Cups, right? Things slowing down. I was talking about how the Nine of Cups can be a card of contentment. To the Queen of Wands, Ace of Cups, to the Six of Cups. Six of Cups is childlike energy. It says, like, what did you enjoy doing when you were a child? When you were, 12, between 12 and 15, what was your favorite activity that you loved to do? And the Six of Cups says, go do that. I don't care if it's playing with Lego. I don't care if it's playing video games, whatever. It's like, maybe you need some time for yourself. With the Seven of Wands, you have the Hermit. I do feel that you have earned the right to be standing on the top of the mountain here, Leo. So I like that. That's good. Next, in your final row, you have this quieting the mind card. So I do feel like anything you can do to quiet your mind, just like I was just babbling on about, would be a really good idea for you. I feel like there'd be a lot of success in kind of, meditating and doing things you enjoy doing. You have the Six of Cups, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Eight of Swords showing up here in this last row. Kind of weird. Almost everybody has had the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords, you always get this card as well, just like the Nine of Cups. Eight of Swords says that you could be too close to the problems that you're experiencing. So it kind of says you need to zoom out. And that's what I get for you. So that's a little bit different than everybody else. But sometimes with the Eight of Swords, I always say it's like, imagine if you were standing up against a wall that was like right up against your face, but it was only as wide as your face. It's like you wouldn't know that if you just stepped this way or just stepped that way that you could get around the wall because you're too close to the problem. So the Ace of Swords sometimes says maybe you're too close to the problem. Again, some of the best ways to zoom out are going for walks, doing things that you enjoy doing, getting out into nature, taking part in a hobby, doing something, right? Gaining a new perspective. Even the Ten of Pentacles here, really good card of success. But the Ten of Pentacles is a card of hidden or secret information. It can say that there is information that exists for you, but you have to go study it. You have to go learn it. So I think sometimes if we're stuck in business, for example, Ten of Pentacles, Eight of Swords, this type of energy can say like, hey, go read a business book. Go read a book about doing business a way that you never thought about doing it, right? Same thing in love. It's like maybe you're stuck in love. This could say go find someone on YouTube who talks about love. I don't know. They're all terrible, but whatever, right? I think I shouldn't say that. They're not all terrible. I think a lot. And I'm not referring to readers here. I'm talking about the people who are like, I've been married 35 times and I'm a love expert. That's what I'm talking about here, Leo. Those people, I question that is what I'd say here. But there are some good love books out there, right? 5 Love Languages. There's I don't know. I'm sure there will be plenty of suggestions down in the comments below. But I would say learning anything would be a good idea with the Ten of Pentacles. Here's the thing I think people forget about education or learning as well. With the Ten of Pentacles is you could learn something like the 5 Love Languages and you could be saying to yourself, this is the worst book I've ever read. I hate this. And guess what? Good. Because the Ten of Pentacles just says learn. It doesn't say that you have to agree with the thing you learn. It's you might read the 5 love languages, and you might come up with something better. The Ten of Pentacles is about going on the journey of education. It's about going on the journey to learn, and it's like you don't have to agree with it or anything. You might learn it and come up with something better. That's the whole point. And with the Six of Cups, I feel this is talking about childlike energy. I do feel like there could be a turnaround coming in for you as well here, Leo. So let's dig into this a little bit more, and that'll be that. With the Six of Cups, you have the Lovers. Definitely could be love coming in for you. I'd say it's like soulmate love. Six of Cups, I don't really read the Six of Cups as someone coming back from the past, but I do feel for some of you but I don't think it is someone from the past. I think it's just like a soulmate type energy, and someone you feel childlike with. Someone who you feel so playful with and just want to have a good time with. So it's like a much more playful energy that I get here in love. Not like super serious and not fun. With the Ten of Pentacles, you have the Four of Pentacles here. So again, Four of Pentacles is about holding on to things too tightly. It just says look outside of the things that you believe. You do not have to agree with them. I recommend that people don't agree with everything that they read in general, is what I would say. I think we need more of that. And the Four of Pentacles just says look outside of what you believe, and you might discover something like that is amazing. I always tell people as well, it's like funny because like I've read a lot of books, and I've read a lot of books where people like give the book a terrible review, right? I do not trust book reviews any longer, because like I've read books that have terrible reviews, but I've gotten like one little gold nugget out of the book that's changed my life. So I feel like people discount information significantly, right? And I feel like this is saying you might not agree with everything in a book, but there might be just like one golden nugget. There are books I've read from people that I don't agree with, period, in life, that I've gotten golden nuggets out of. So, and I'm not saying this to be preachy or anything. I'm saying this because I feel like there's something very beneficial for you in like a book or, in a person you don't agree with. With the Eight of Swords, you have the Eight of Cups here. Definitely walking away from the stuck energy here and walking away from things that no longer serve you. I do get kind of a weird message here. It just popped into my head at the end here. For some of you, I do feel like there could be like a cutting your losses type of situation coming in for you. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but there might be a situation where it's like maybe you invest a little bit of money, maybe you're dealing with like a lawsuit or something like that. Maybe you end up on the losing side of things, but it's almost like there's an opportunity to cut your losses. Again, listen to a lawyer, or if you're in that situation. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what I'm talking about at all. Period. I can barely speak today in the first place. So what I would say here is trust the expert, but at the same time, I do feel there could be an opportunity to kind of cut your losses. It's like one of those things. It might not be great, but you're like removing your situation from something. I see that for some of you. But damn, is this real life? Is the title of this reading here, Leo? Because I feel like things are going to be becoming more animated. It's like your dreams are becoming more real. And I freaking love that. So thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your sun, moon, and rising as well, Leo. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your year.